Welcome to the Schools of Excellence podcast, a place for insightful conversations about building sustainable schools of excellence. Join me each week as we explore the importance of leading with your values, creating impact, and leaving a lasting legacy. My goal on the show is to provide you with clarity, elevate your mindset, and equip you with practical strategies and inspiration. I'm Chani Wolshansky, a proud mother of four, a former New Yorker, now savoring sunny Florida vibes. With a professional journey spanning 18 years across all levels of school leadership, I bring nuanced insight that delve into the intricate details of running a center, as well as the broader visionary aspects of leadership. Thank you for joining me for this conversation. Let's build a legacy of excellence together. Hello, and happy summer to you all. Happy August. So August in Florida, just to give you a little backstory before we dive into today's episode. July and August are when Florida is basically like 4 inches away from the sun. And in the same way that in New York and Canada, you don't go outside in the winter because, your face will freeze. In Florida, you don't really go outside in like July and August because, everything will fry. So I often find the summer season, because I'm inside more in my house and not, outside, and just a lot of what the beauty and nature of what Florida has to offer for all the other months of the year. It's a time of kind of, just introspection. I do a lot more deep cleaning during the summer. My 2 older kids are away in sleepover camp, so I've got my 2 little ones at home. Your schedule has a lot more flexibility during this time. My schedule kind of has a little bit of flexibility as well. So we kind of take this time to audit different things that are going on in our home, and some ways that we want to prepare for the upcoming school year, which is right around the corner. And for many of you, depending on where you live in the world, like maybe even next week. So today's conversation is about auditing season and maximizing the summer to enhance your school leadership. So let's dive into what kind of audits school leaders can really do in the summer to prepare better for the school year. So I want to talk first about why the summer is such a great time for summer audits. So like I was sharing just personally, there's less operational demands in the summer. So again, in our home, there's less humans in the house, right? I have 2 kids that are in overnight camp for 8 weeks. And so just the fact that there's less humans in the home, makes for less mess, less operational things to be thinking, less calendar stuff that are going on. And so I like to use that season, for reflection and for planning. And so in schools, there is a decrease of operational demand during the summer season. There's a little bit of a slower pace to things, a little bit less ops demand. And so it creates just a little bit more capacity to conduct some proper audits on what's happening inside of the center to prepare for the upcoming school year. The summer break in general is also it's a reflective period. It's a lot of just kind of a natural pause, in just the general cycle and the seasons. It's a time of introspection, and school leaders can really take time to review your past practices, some outcomes, really identify areas for improvement, and really set the stage for some strategic planning and goal setting for the new school year. The other thing to think about also why summer is a great time for auditing, typically in the summer season, you'll have less children in the building. So even if you're running a summer program, there's a lot of people that are running kind of different summer break schedules. So you might have like 1 week, you'll have, a certain amount of kids, but like a different week, a bunch of people are all of a sudden on vacation that week or whatever it is. So because summer has that natural rhythm of people are pausing, people are taking breaks, people are going on vacations, there's less humans in the building. And when there's less humans in the building, it becomes easier from a brain capacity standpoint to run certain kinds of audits. And so that's why Mayor and I, in our cycle, just in our personal lives, the summer is a time where I love summer. Just in general, I love summer. But another reason why summer is just a beautiful time that I cherish is it's a time where we really do a lot of introspection from a family perspective and really looking at, what grades are our kids going into? What are going to be their needs? How old are they in this new year? What were their friendships like last year? Like, who were their teachers? Who are their teachers going to be this year? Like, we really take the time to think through that and set some intention for the upcoming school year. So that's what I want today's episode to be about for you guys. So I'm going to share with you a couple of different audits that you can do in the summer now. So the first one is curriculum audits, reviewing your curriculum to ensure that there is an alignment with standards, with relevancy to student needs, with relevancy to your parent body, with integration of best practices. So auditing what curriculum did we use this past year? Did it work? Did it not work? Do we want to, continue to do it? Do we want to make some tweaks? Is there a different classroom that we should start using this curriculum? A lot of times when schools roll out curriculums, they might have, a certain amount of classes that will use that particular curriculum. And so then the summer is a time to audit and say, okay, do we want to introduce this to all of the other classrooms? Do we want to, trash this curriculum and, choose something else? So curriculum audits are a great time to be running in the summer. Another audit is assessment audits. So evaluating all your assessment practices. So whether you're doing this intentionally or subconsciously or whatever it is, there are multiple different kinds of assessments and diagnostics that you're running inside of your center for all the different stakeholders. So you have parent assessments, like surveys that go out. You have teacher assessments. So whether you're running, classroom observation assessments, skills audits, we have an audit inside of our directors inner circle. It's called the 6 performance keys, which assesses the 6 key skills that all teachers need to be teachers of excellence. We have a diagnostic called the 4 forces diagnostic, which is a diagnostic tool to assess your directors and where are they holding in their skills. So you have those kinds of assessments. There are, cleanliness assessments. There's checklists that need to be done. There are multiple different kinds of assessments that you're running with all the different stakeholders inside of your center. And then just building maintenance in general also has this kind of assessment of where's the maintenance in the building holding or licensing code or whatever. So the summer is a phenomenal time to look at all your assessments and ask yourself, where is the opportunities for improvement in these assessments, right? Is the way that we're getting parent feedback still working, right? Do we want to upgrade our surveys? Is the way that we're auditing, the way that the teachers are running, how our directors are running their classroom observations right now, is that good? Or do we want a better system? And we have those systems inside of our program. Is the way that we're running one-on-ones effective? Do we need to update our quality of questions based on, what's happening in the world right now? Great. You might want to upgrade that. Is our parent handbook up to date? Do we want to update our parent handbook? Is our teacher handbook up to date? Is our, website in the way that we're doing tour collection up to date? I went to a school website actually a couple weeks ago and it said inquire here. And then when I clicked on it, it said, this link is no longer working. Please call the main office. And I was like, well, then why does it even say inquire here? Right. So all of these, assessment audits, the summer is such a great time to be assessing those. Now, what happens a lot of time when school leaders start to kind of go down this rabbit hole is they're like, oh, and now I need this thing and I need this thing and I don't know how to create this and I don't know how to do this thing. This is one of the reasons why I created the Schools of Excellence membership, our Directors Inner Circle and our Owners HQ program. I created it because I don't want leaders to have to spend hours and hours and hours and weeks and months reinventing the wheel. We have all of these assessments and tools inside of our program, whether it's accumulation of other members that have brought stuff together or it's stuff that, we've created on our own where you can plug and play. So if you're like, I need a better classroom observation system, great. We have that. You can look at it, see what you like, take what you like, throw out the rest and use it and plug and play inside of your center. So if you're thinking of I want to do an assessments audit, but I know I have to update all of these things and I don't know where to get started, click the link in the show notes. You might be a great candidate for our Schools of Excellence membership. Another audit to run inside of the summer is the technology audit, reviewing your technology infrastructure. So every 90 days inside of the business, we do a tech stack audit. So our ops department will audit all the different technologies and softwares that we're using inside of the business. So we run basically a fully online business, which means we have a lot of tech tools, right? Right now you're listening to the podcast. I recorded it on a specific piece of software that we have in the business for podcasting, right? And we have multiple different softwares that we use depending on what we need for podcasting, right? There's recording, there's editing, there's sound, there's audio, there's visual, there's all these different things. And so we need to make sure that we are auditing our tech stack regularly and asking, do we still need this tool? right? Sometimes we buy a particular tool because we need it for a particular season and then we forget to cancel it. Or, we're using a particular tool, but it's actually not working anymore. And there's, a better, more efficient, cheaper one out there. So auditing your tech stack, again, not obsessively where it's like, oh my God, every month you're auditing your tech stack. No, the summer is a great time to do it. Audit your tech stack, audit your technology, and ask yourself, what softwares are we using? There are so many schools, when I talk to them, they literally have like one of every single kind of CRM. And I was like, why? Why do you have all 5 of those? They all do the exact same thing. Pick one, right? So it's really understanding like, what tech do I actually need to run this business efficiently and effectively? Sometimes you have a certain tech because you heard it at a conference or you saw that person in a trade show and you were excited about it and you got it, but you're not even using it. So, and that's not to say that you shouldn't use it, or you should cancel it right away or whatever it is, but it's saying, why do I still have this? Do I need it? Do I need to go learn how to use it or whatever it is? Okay. So tech audits. Okay. What is another audit that you can do in the summer? A facility audit, evaluating the condition of the facility, classrooms, common areas, outdoor spaces, identifying maintenance needs, safety concerns, all of those. Great time to do it in the summer, right? Great time to look at all of these areas, right? So you think about, what's it called? On the roads, right? Construction will happen a lot during the summer, right? There's the summer construction season. And, I lived in New York for many, many years, and that the summer is always a time where they're doing construction. One, because again, there's less volume of cars on the road during the summer. And also because after the winter in New York, there's a bajillion potholes that they're trying to fix up and cover up during the summer season to prepare, for the next round of potholes that come next winter. But the summer is a time where they're typically doing more construction because there's less volume. So there's less rush hour times. It works differently. Now, that doesn't mean that there's never traffic or it's like there's no cars on the road. So, doing summer construction is the best time. And this is also something, the reason I'm using this analogy is because I want you to understand that you might be listening to this and thinking, well, the summer is not a slower season. It's actually really busy still. And so we can't run these audits or whatever it is. I understand. I'm sharing this with you here is because, yes, sometimes you're in a season where it's not the ideal time to do an audit or whatever it is. But when you're hearing this, you're like, you know what? We haven't done a facility audit in a really long time. Let's do it. Let's run this audit now. I often think about one time, so when I lived in New Jersey, where my parents live, so I lived with my, maybe, 6 months or 9 months or something like that, before, when I was dating Mayor, during that time period. And so I had traveled to New York to go to a friend's wedding. But I drove back to New Jersey that night to sleep in my parents' house. And I had driven back, probably 11, it was closer to midnight. And I was taking the Holland Tunnel to get to New Jersey. My parents live 15 minutes out of the tunnel. And I pull up to the tunnel and it's midnight and there is a standstill. Nobody's moving. And I'm like, who is traveling at midnight? Why is there traffic at 12 o'clock at night? What the hell is going on here? And I was so mad because I really thought it was going to be a quick trip home. And here I am sitting at the entrance of the tunnel, not moving, bumper to bumper traffic. Anyways, after sitting it was almost a half hour, we finally started moving. And anyways, I come out of the tunnel, I come home, and my dad was actually still up, and I come into the house, and he was like, how was the trip? And I was like, oh, it was so frustrating. There was so much traffic at the tunnel. And so my dad starts laughing. He's like, oh, they clean the tunnel at midnight. And I was like, they what? And he's like, yeah, every single night at midnight, they wash the tunnel, from all the fumes from all the trucks. They clean it. And anyways, we both just started laughing and it was and then I realized that there wasn't traffic. They literally closed the tunnel. So everyone was sitting and waiting until they opened the tunnel again. My point in that is sometimes you're going to inconvenience people because you actually need to run this audit. And so you might be sitting here and thinking, well, I can't run this facilities audit, or I can't do this technology audit, or I can't do this, assessment audit, or whatever it is. It's going to inconvenience people. It's, there's too many other things going on. Yeah, I know. I was mightily inconvenienced by the tunnel, by the cleaning of the tunnel. But you know what? Guess what? The next morning I had to drive there and it was really nice not to have black fumes everywhere, right? So Yes, it's inconvenient sometimes when you have to run certain audits or do certain maintenance stuff, but they're needed for the health of your business. And so in the summer right now, during this season, I really want you to be discerning about where do you need to audit certain areas of your company. Okay, let's continue. Where else do you need to run some audits? Professional development, evaluating what professional development opportunities you want to be investing in for this coming year, assessing their relevance, the quality, the impact of professional learning, all of these areas. And one of the things that I think a lot of school leaders miss out on when they're preparing their professional development budgets is they don't put themselves in the equation. So they make budgets for where am I going to invest in the teachers? Where am I going to invest in my leaders? Where am I going to invest, with this conference and thing? And then it's like, okay, but what about you? Are you investing in you? Where are you investing in your quality of leadership? And where are you getting support? What container are you having for yourself to be mentored, to be supported, to be taken care of, to have a first line of defense to, like, what is your support system? And maybe this year is the year that you actually redivert the way that you invest in professional development, and you say, this is the year I invested me. This is the year that I'm going to allocate funds to invest in me as the leader. And the last area to audit is parent and community engagement, assessing your strategies for how you engage parents and the broader community, how you do, school activities, parent activities, the decision-making process around parent and community engagement. This is a huge one when it comes to parent and community engagement. Just actually understanding what is your decision-making process and how you decide, should you run this parent event? Should you not? Should you do this community event? Should you not? Like, having your decision-making filters, that is a system that needs auditing every single year. Re-audit. How do we make decisions around parent and community engagement? How do we make decisions around this or this? Mayor and I often in the summer, again, when we're auditing, just schools and our community commitments, our synagogue commitments, what we like, our charitable commitments, all those things that we're auditing. One of the things that we're auditing, is what is the decision-making filter around this decision? Because we're going to have to make this decision multiple times throughout the year, right? So whether that's where we're giving, for charitable contributions, what are going to be our community commitments this year? Are we signing up to be part of this? Are we volunteering in this area? Are we going to have our kids involved in this certain area? Are we going to show up for this thing? Are we going to contribute here? Whatever it is. What is the filter this year based on our season of life right now, based on our, commitments that we have, based on the season of life where our kids are. So we're entering a season, right, where Mendel's going out of town. He's going into high school. Goldie's going into 7th grade. She's going to be graduating the year after. Yessie's going into 1st grade. Like, what's going on with all of our kids? What are their needs? Where are we holding? And what will be the new decision-making filter for how we make decisions in relation to our community commitments? We really value being part of our community. We love our Jewish community. We love contributing. We love being part of it. We love being leaders in our community. And we have to be assessing consistently, what is the filter for how we make decisions over where we show up, where we contribute, how we contribute, right? Resources are contributing with our time, our money, our people, just us physically, our energy, our emotion, all of those things. So taking the time to audit how you make decisions in relation to parent and community engagement is such a gift to give to your future self in the summer. So by conducting all these different audits during the summer, again, this is not a podcast episode on like, okay, everyone, sit down, buckle up, and now audit all of these things during the summer. No, these are ideas, and you can choose one or two of them, or even just one of them that you want to audit this summer. And you might say, you know what, I'm going to audit, our technology in the summer, and I'm going to audit our facility in October. Again, there's no hard and fast rules on like, you can only audit these things in the summer. This is just an invitation and a time that it may be a little bit easier or simpler to audit these things. But taking the time to audit these, you're gathering such valuable data, insights, feedback, all of these things that really inform your strategic planning, your resource allocation. It's your improvement of your initiatives. And most importantly, it really allows you to live in alignment with how you want to feel, with what your values are, with what the school's mission is. And that's what you're really here for, right? Like that's what the school leadership is about. And so I hope today's episode on just this audit season invited you to think about things from just a whole new different perspective. And I'd actually would love to hear from you. If you want to reply to this, to our email that we sent out or DM me on social media, I'd love to hear from you. Which audit are you most excited about, going forward and conducting? All right. Thanks so much for joining me. If you are loving the Schools of Excellence podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your school and for yourself, I would love if you can do two things for me. One, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And two, can you please leave us a review? Reviews help other school leaders know that this is the podcast to learn about building a school of excellence. And I'd be so grateful if you can do that for us. Your help and support make this show be able to listen to by thousands of other school leaders around the globe. Thanks so much for listening and giving us your time and attention each week.